Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing on this Tuesday, February 20th? The second day of the week that everybody would hate if there was no Monday. Or, Monday's evil stepsister. Let's see here. We got a good morning to Rhetorical and an MC. Good afternoon to Tailed Feature. Good morning to a Devin May in the chat. Good morning to a Neilk and a Green Badger and a Hellbound. As I scroll down, and a good morning to the hubby as well. Whew. Yesterday I have no clue how I got up at 4:30, but I was dead by 9:30. So I tried to watch Penina's gaming stream last night, and I was just drooping. I was falling asleep. So it happens. I can't stay up that long because then my brain starts going goofy. Yeah, I refuse to shine. I have a meme somewhere that says, I'm up. If you want bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, go catch a fucking squirrel. I think I gotta find that one and utilize it to its best behavior. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and update the usual on the edit. Let me see what else went on yesterday. Well, after having lost my debit card twice, I found it for the second time, and this time, instead of putting it somewhere there where I won't lose it, I actually stuck it in my wallet. So now I actually won't lose it, instead of saying that I'm going to put it somewhere so I don't lose it and then lose it again, because Lord, I have the worst time ever trying to keep up with that thing. Yeah, work. I call it adulting, which is what I have to do today. I have to see if I can get a ride from the aunt so I can get some errands run today. So that's gotta happen, because gotta go and do a little bit of laundry and then pick up a few essentials. Thank ya. I can't keep up with that thing for some reason. I don't know why. I think it hates me. I don't know. Let me see here. We don't have anybody on the Twitch side this morning. Maybe. Or maybe they're just watching. Oh, we have 2 watching on the Twitch side this morning and 7 in the chat. So, hey to the 7 in YouTube and the 2 over there in Twitch. Let's see what we have got for government tweets this morning. I'm going to try and save up for a PS4. Ooh, nice. It'd be nice to have one of those. Alright, let's see here what we've got. We've got a Black History lesson from the Department of Defense, which I am going to read to you now. Let me see if I can find the thing. Alright, let me see here. Alright, DOD Alive. Segregated in service, Medal of Honor recipients' actions saved lives of all races. This blog is part of a weekly series called Medal of Honor Monday, in which we will highlight one of the nearly 3,500 Medal of Honor recipients who have earned the honor of wearing the U.S. military's highest Medal for Valor. Violently abuse that like button. Orphaned just a few years after his 1919 birth, Vernon Baker was raised with his 2 sisters by his grandparents in Wyoming. He moved in with an aunt in Iowa while in high school. After graduation, he joined his father as a railroad worker, serving as a porter. In the summer of 1941, Baker grew tired of railroad life and enlisted in the Army. After completing officer candidate school, he was commissioned on January 11th, 1943. Baker joined the segregated 270th Regiment of the 92nd Infantry Division. He and his fellow soldiers were members of the first African-American unit to go into combat in World War II. Almost 3 years to the day that Baker enlisted, his division landed at Naples, Italy, and fought its way north to the center of the embattled country. In the fall, Baker, on night patrol, ran into a German guard. Baker killed the German, but he was wounded so badly that he was hospitalized for 2 months. In the spring of 1945, Baker, the only black officer in his company, was back on duty and in command of a weapons unit near Viareggio, Italy. It was just a few months before the war would end, but on April 5th the battles were still raging. Baker and his troops were ordered to launch an early morning assault against a mountain stronghold occupied by Germans. Baker led 2 attacks against the stronghold, taking out many of the enemy positions in the mountainous terrain. This action secured the position for Baker's team and helped to drive enemy forces out of northern Italy. Following the battle, Baker was nominated for the nation's second highest honor for battlefield valor, the Distinguished Service Cross. At the time, the Medal of Honor was reserved for white troops. Baker remained in the military until 1968 and became one of the first African-American officers to command an all-white company. In 1996, more than 50 years after his actions in Italy, Baker, who was then living in Idaho with his wife Heidi, received a telephone call explaining that the military was seeking to reevaluate the heroism of African Americans in World War II, and he was to receive the Medal of Honor. On January 13, 1997, President Bill Clinton presented Baker with the Medal of Honor. He was the only living African American World War II veteran to earn it. 6 other African American service members were recognized with the award that year. 4 had died in action, and the other 2 had died in the decades after the war. At the White House ceremony, Clinton said African Americans were denied the nation's highest honor, but their deeds could not be denied. Asked how he had felt about everything in a segregated unit, Baker said, "I was an angry young man. We were all angry, but we had a job to do, and we did it. My personal thoughts were that I knew things would get better, and I'm glad to say I'm here to see it." Baker died at his St. Mary's, Idaho home on July 13, 2010. After a long battle with cancer, he was buried at Arlington National Cemetery. Welcome to the Morning Brew. Welcome back, rather, Ichi Fatum. How are you doing this morning over on the Twitch side? So, there's that one. The second one is from Operation Inherent Resolve, which is the Australian Minister for Defense visits deployed troops in Iraq, where your ADF is making a highly valued contribution to the regional and global security. So, we've got, an Australian Minister of Defense visiting over there. DOD. 2 coalition airstrikes eliminated ISIS fighters and facilities in Afghanistan's Nangarhar and Jozan provinces earlier this month. This winter, joint forces have pushed ISIS more than 4 miles from their position in the Momand Valley. So there's a small little update from the DMD, and here's a little history lesson from MGM. The filming of the MGM opening credits happened today in 1928. That's right. That trademark lion roar and the lion happened back in 1928 to ring in MGM theaters at the beginning of their movies. So there's a little bit of good news, a little bit of history over there. So, let me see. Yep. Wasn't it up Hellbound? Wasn't it up until the Korean War or the Vietnam War that the U.S. desegregated the military? I believe it was around that time that they desegregated it. Yes, Hellbound. It's good that they did, though. Alright, so we've got that out of the way. We've got the tweet. Oh, I know. It's this time. Alright, it is time for the news. And the weather delivered by your amateur weather girl. Here we go. For Tuesday, February 20th, 2018, heavy snow likely over the northern plains and upper Mississippi Valley. Heavy rain and flooding possible for portions of the southern plains to the western Ohio Valley and into the lower Great Lakes. So for that flooding, don't forget your boats, your floaties, and, you got to know how to swim. It's very important. Rain and freezing rain possible of the middle upper Mississippi Valley into the upper Great Lakes. That means you're going to be freezing your behind off because temperatures will be 15 to 35 degrees below average over the northern Rockies into parts of the northern/central plains. In other words, you're going to get into I am not going outside weather. Not even a team of wild horses can drag me out there. Over the next couple of days, a quasi-stationary front over the central U.S. will bring widespread rain and thunderstorms from the southern plains to the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and east, with snow across the northern plains and upper Mississippi Valley. A narrow transition zone will set up across the middle and upper Mississippi Valley toward the Great Lakes, where freezing rain will be possible. Winter weather advisories are in effect from Nebraska to the Dakotas and east to northern Michigan. Northwest Nebraska to central South Dakota will have winter storm warnings in effect. Flash flood watches, flood warnings, and advisories are in effect from northeast Texas to southern Missouri and for the lower Great Lakes region. Several inches of rain is expected along the stalled front over a lengthy time frame, likely continuing into the weekend. Runoff from the abundant rain will cause local creeks and streams to rise, which may lead to rivers to swell or overflow their banks. Urban flooding may also occur due to excessive rainfall. Morning, fuckwad. Upper level energy just off the Pacific Northwest coast will move southward to off the central Southern California coast by Wednesday. Additional upper level energy will move over Pacific Northwest on Tuesday evening into Wednesday, spreading snow to parts of the Pacific Northwest coast on Tuesday afternoon that will change over to rain along the northwest and northern California coast by Tuesday evening. The snow will continue just inland over parts of the northwest and into northern California through Wednesday. So there's the map of the temperatures. As you can see, we're going to be comfortable over here in this region, which extends from I would say southwest New York all the way through to the tip of Florida and most of Texas today. You won't need a jacket, and in fact, you'll be comfortable in many of these little yellow areas over here. You're going to need a jacket or a coat in these areas, and this purple area right here, just don't go outside. As a matter of fact, in these little purple areas right here, if you need anything flash frozen, just stick it outside your porch. I'm sure it'll work. Okay, and here is the forecast chart. Here is the rain that is going to be coming through with the flash flood warnings. Let me see here. These are your freezing rain spots, so please, if you're in any of these areas, please be careful. You have rain and snow mix here, and in these turquoise spots, you have snow spreading all the way in the middle over here. I know I sound really professional when I deliver the weather, but I never took a class. So way over here to the west, you've got rain, and then you've got that winter mix going on. So please be careful in any areas that you have snow, freezing rain, any kind of winter mix. Please keep yourself warm, and please be careful out there. All right, now for the news. Oop. All right, put that up there. All right. And blip. PA landowners face loss for eminent domain. Let me see. And this thing isn't moving for some reason. There we go. Come on. You gotta scroll with me. Behave, OBS. The PennEast pipeline, which would run through 4 counties, Lucerne, Carbon, Northampton, and Bucks, is on its way to Mercer County in New Jersey. And on its way to Mercer County in New Jersey has been redrawn to pass through a piece of land, possibly destroying a freshwater spring. PennEast offered Albertine Anthony, the 93-year-old who lives in the home now in the path of the pipeline. They offered her $30,000 in compensation, but she says it will do her no good if the spring is destroyed. The money would have to go to digging a well and laying pipes in her home. The spring feeds water to her home, even the second floor, by gravity, and it has done so over the course of 3 generations. Figure that one out. This makes Miss Anthony the 50th Pennsylvania landowner being sued by PennEast through the eminent domain law. The gas company wants to usurp a portion of their respective lands to continue construction, but the 50 remain resolute. The suit came when the deadline PennEast gave the landowners to accept the offers expired. The Federal Energy Regulatory Commission was asked by New Jersey to stay its approval of the pipeline on February 16th and hold a rehearing. The state's assertion is, by letting the gas company continue, they are approving a flawed certificate. Morning, Callie! Because they are allowing PennEast to temper damage to streams and wetlands rather than not damaging them or doing as much as possible not to damage them. 2/3 of the proposed route cannot be surveyed due to the lack of cooperation of many of the landowners in the path of the pipeline. Gerber Gruel, Attorney General, was quoted as saying, FERC's misunderstanding that impacts can be mitigated away not only threatens precious environmental resources, but also would leave PennEast in the position of having condemned properties which may not qualify for permits under the Clean Water Act. Gruel also asserted PennEast has not given the Department of Environmental Protection with a plan specifying how sites would be impacted environmentally if the streams are mitigated, and no geological studies have been done either. Let me see. Now that fucked laying pipe like that. Yeah! Let me see. Never mind, read the title wrong. Let's see. Oh, let me see here. $37,000 is not nearly enough to... No, it's not, because she doesn't have any plumbing. In order, if they were to do that and destroy the spring that's been feeding her home by gravity all these years, she would literally have to have all new plumbing installed in her home and a well dug to compensate. Merlin is at the doctor today, PeninaChan. He's getting a brain scan. So, $37,000 does buy a decent house. I swear, $37,000 would probably barely cover putting pipes, plumbing pipes in a home and digging the well and linking the well to the pipes. I mean, we're talking that would be a massive undertaking in that house that's being gravity fed by a spring. These eminent domain is, in my opinion, is something that shouldn't have ever been put in the books as law. I mean, that's just my opinion, because you're uprooting homes. My mom used to be in the real estate business, and she would literally have to sell, quote unquote, the air above. Okay, let me. I beat Merlin in your basement. Is Merlin okay? Merlin suffers from chronic pain through a back operation. He has good days and bad days, morning thrax, and he has to go by regular checkups because he is on opioids. So he is just going through a routine brain scan to see if everything is still working all right. And he's got another couple of checkups tomorrow for liver tests and things of that nature to make sure the opioids aren't doing any more damage to his system. But I will be updating you on that as I hear stuff. So that is why the co-host isn't here this morning. My mom used to be in real estate, and when she used to have to sell houses that were next to the airport here in Atlanta, the Atlanta airport literally went through one year and they offered to buy the air above the house in order to, and the way that worked was if you sold the space above your house, they would come in, they would soundproof your home so you wouldn't hear an airplane flying over it every 5-10 minutes. But the catch was, after they did that, you could not build up onto your home. In other words, if it was a one-floor house and you decided that you were going to add a second floor to it after you sold your air space to the airport, you couldn't build a second floor onto the first floor of your home because it's soundproofed and the airport owned the airspace above your house. Which is kind of weird and freaky at the same time. Neil, I'd make sure I sold above a minimum altitude that would allow me to still add a few stories. Yeah, but a lot of these people didn't know what it all entailed to sell the airspace above your home, so they would sell all the airspace above their home and then get pissed off when they were told they couldn't build upwards. I personally thought that would be a great time to dig out a full basement in the ground, because if it's too hot in the summer, go live in the basement. It's always cooler in the basement. Alright, here we go. That's PennEast. Second story. Here is a sheriff I am falling in love with. I swear to God. Florida sheriff on arming teachers. Okay, Einstein, you got a better idea? Polk County Sheriff Grady Judge, the top law enforcement official in Polk County, Florida, said Monday that his department has started a program that will train and arm teachers in schools to fend off and discourage would-be shooters. He then continues on by saying the Baker Act, which governs, let me move over here, which governs involuntary institutionalization of people with mental health issues, needs more teeth. When a crazed gunman arrives on campus with murder in his eyes, the deed is done within 2 to 5 minutes, he said, adding that criminals will think twice if they suspect someone else on campus might have a gun under the county's so-called Sentinel program. Judge says if teachers there were armed, the Valentine shooting could have had a different outcome. We had coaches that ran to stand in front of their students with no gun, he said. Why not give them a fighting chance? He acknowledged that some would not agree with his plan. However, he noted that those who criticize have not offered alternatives, saying, okay, Einstein, you got a better idea? Under his program, a group of teachers or professors who would volunteer for the training program would go through a certification program that would be more stringent than even police officers go through, Judge said. We would have shooters apologizing for even showing up with a gun by the time they have 4 or 5 rounds in them, he said. God forbid that terrible day ever occurs, but we would have a group of people armed with guns to run to the threat and neutralize it before they reach our children. Good morning, Perseus Gold, and welcome to the morning brew. Pull up a chair and your favorite brew. And he says, I would rather give veterans the jobs of guarding schools. Yes, we discussed that. Good morning, Levi. And good morning, J. Willie. How are you? Or good afternoon. I believe you're over there in the EU. Yep, welcome. Yeah, I mean, it's, we were discussing this, I think it was last week on one of my coffee talks, that, arming teachers would probably be a good idea if it was a last defense, but giving veterans a job of guarding our children works better too. As well as putting metal detectors in the schools, even though I'm under the understanding that some guns are made of an alloy that wouldn't be caught on metal detectors. But at least they would have an early warning and you would have guards on site. What about teaching the kids how to handle guns safely? Well, the thing is, if somebody... handling guns safely is up to the parents. That's the parents' responsibility, okay? But if you have a kid, first of all, what I believed happened was a breakdown of the system in the Valentine's Day shooting at the school. There were several signs this kid was mentally disturbed and that he was having problems. There were several signals that were sent out to authorities that were never followed up on. This kid fell through the cracks, and now there are families trying to put their lives together after a loss because of it. We need to take more active steps in finding and acting on signs, and in order to prevent future shootings. Ichi Fatum on the Twitch side says, the old idea of fighting fire with fire, I just hope not everything will burn down in the process. I know. Levi, schools used to have shooting ranges. I don't know why they got rid of them. My school never had one. Casual Callie, things that should be mandatory learning at least by high school. Swimming, driving, self-defense. Yeah, I agree. MC, how about allowing the ROTC to use their own weapons? Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. I mean, you have a JROTC in the school. Teach them how to use the weapons. But the problem therein is the age limit for actually being able to handle a weapon in school. So it would probably only be the seniors that are 18 years of age, and even then that 18 is 21 in certain states. So you'd still have a problem there. Loki, nah, the kid fell through the earth into outer space. Neil, the school my father taught at had a shooting range. It was in a basement that's closed up. It became one of those secret areas in the more modern years. Yeah. Green Badger, I'm a bit of a firearm enthusiast, and I can't think of a single firearm that will pass through a metal detector. Okay. I'm the first one to tell you I'm firearm stupid. So I'm willing to take any corrections when it comes to firearms. Alright, here we go. And the third story of the day. Inside a Russian troll factory. When the story broke about 13 Russians being charged with meddling, Russian officials scoffed, but there are many other people who say charges were well-founded. Marat Mindyarov, someone who used to work for the innocently named Internet Research Agency, states the Facebook department sought out people with above-par English skills to steer U.S. public opinion through a well-organized social media campaign. This is what makes him trust the indictment and why he said, quote, I believe that that's how it was, and then that it was them. The indictment, issued February 16th, named a wealthy restaurateur, Yevgeny Prigozhin, paid for the fake social media activity. Though he has been dubbed Putin's chef, the Kremlin stands firm in saying they were not involved. A spokesman for Putin, Dmitry Peskov, says the indictment focuses on Russian nationals and shows no indication that the Russian government was involved in this in any way. Even though he did not pass the test, that would have put him in the Facebook desk. Mindy Yarov said the operation created content that appeared to be written by native English speakers. Quote, these were people with excellent language skills, interpreters, university graduates. It's hard to tell it's a foreigner writing because they master the language wonderfully. His test consisted of a writing sample whose subject matter was of Hillary Clinton's chances of winning the election. He goes on to describe there were 400 people who took up space on 4 floors. And when he took the job in 2014 due to the fact... And he took the job in 2014 due to... Okay, let me rephrase. Boy, I can't type. He goes on to describe there were 400 people who took up space on 4 floors when he took the job in 2014 due to the fact he was unemployed and had a curiosity. The people would work 12-hour shifts, and the majority focused on the eastern Ukraine insurgency and West imposed sanctions on Russia, not political races in the West. Or told to copy and paste Loki. J. Willie, French Guyana and French Polynesia, also in the EU. Ah, okay. Heck, columns changed a lot. What is this? Let me see. Neil, the Russians pushed Trump, anti-Trump, BLM, etc. They pushed everything to destabilize things. The media is conveniently leaving most of that out. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I completely agree, Neil. He went on to say that payment was in cash, and we worked in groups of 3, where one played the part of a scoundrel, the other one was a hero, and the third one kept a neutral position. He left after a couple of months because he hated the work. So... that's what happened there. And that is the news. Let's see what we kind of... there we go. Got to open up that one next. So, yeah. I mean, from my dealings with social media and trying to do research on how to better use social media, I am not naive to the fact that there are even farms out there in India and other places where they pay people to like pages on Facebook for no other reason than, they get paid a certain amount of money every day to like these pages. Not to interact on them, just to click the like button and keep moving. Which screws up the rankings on pages when you don't have any meaningful interactions. And so to have these troll farms out there, probably, and I would say probably, not definitely, so don't quote me, working independently in order to sway certain things one way or the other, I don't doubt that at all. Itchy Fate, I'm not sure, but it seems that Twitch comments don't show on stream anymore. Huh? Nope, it's showing up there. Restream is popping them up there, my dear. Alright, so... we know what time it is.
I am Cornholio. I need TV for my bunghole.
Alright, we know what time it is. We know what time it is. It's time for video recommendations. And the first one is Tailed Feature. Otherwise, yeah, you're late, Numbed Skull, but at least you made it. Let me see if I can get this a little more centered. There we go. That looks a little better. Power Nihilism. Tailed Feature. Fucking moo. This is a music commission, and he does music commissions. And I love the guitar riff. I love this little piece of music. It's great. You guys need to listen to this. It's only 1 minute and 5 seconds. But holy crap, if you need a good guitar riff and a good heavy metal rock feel, this is for you. Perseus Gold. This is why we need both online and IRL groups organized so we can't be written off. We need a hard bastard and Aiden Paladin convention. I'd show up to that. I would show up to that. Second recommended video is the Beardbarian raiding Olympic gold. I don't know squat. This is absolutely freaking hilarious because he... How do you not like that face? Okay? You have got to go and check out his videos. His content is great. This was good, too. This is absolutely hilarious. Because he starts by trying to tear down the Olympics, and then he's like, no, I can't do this. I got to do this on my own, I've got to do this on my own terms. And he goes off and he does his own thing in the video. It's really, really cool. I love the Beardbarian. He's great. Next one is Undoomed. HuffPost goes activist. Hilarity ensues, and boy, does it. I love Undoomed. I love his content. And this video is great. absolutely wonderful. I gotta figure out where he finds most of these clips in order to insert, 2 cents in there and stuff. But it's a really great video. And the last one was through a fan request. Your boy Pat, a fan, asked for his take on the whole Elle Darby situation, and he gives it in his wonderful Your Boy Pat style. Perseus Gold, Power Nihilism reminds me of the Dwarf Fortress theme music. So he does it in his own style, and your boy Pat is a really cool guy. He shouts out people all the time on Twitter, and he tries to help people get promoted. No problem, Tailed. No problem whatsoever, dear. So that leaves. Oh yeah, that leaves.
I don't know. I'm making this up as I go.
The cancer. Let me see if my throat holds out. It's been goofy most of the stream. I don't know if I have any water left over here. Oh, I got plenty of water. Let me drink some water. This is a Guardian thing. I better do my over dramatic. British woman voice. See if I can get this going here. Let's tell the truth about poverty and stop this assault on welfare. Mary O'Hara. Savage cuts to benefits both in the UK and the US are repeatedly missold as welfare reform to help people. I'm trying. My voice doesn't want to work today. When the Department for Work and Pensions last week decided to issue a Valentine's message to people on benefits, clearly implying that recipients lie about their living arrangements to fleece the state, it was the latest attack designed to blame and shame. It is a well-worn pattern, especially for people who qualify for benefits. Since the emergence almost a decade ago of the poisonous rhetoric of skivers and strivers, that has helped to prop up the fiasco that has been Tory austerity, a culture of dismissing poor people, has become well and truly entrenched. The despicable idea that being poor is somehow the byproduct of personal flaws rather than bad policy, and that strong welfare systems should be rejected, is pervasive. Oh, good Lord. Somebody needs to take the finger out of her butt, or the broom handle out of her ass, whichever one's up there deeper. How else to explain the fact that food banks have become normalized, or that the repeated denial of benefits and dignity to people with disabilities failed to provoke a nationwide revolt? How else to compute that a homeless person dies on the doorstep of Houses of Parliament and registers only as a temporary blip on the national consciousness? Thank you, Perseus. Morning, Malachite. Let's see here. Somehow we have come to a point where that should be unpalatable is acceptable. All this should tell us that we need to radically alter the national conversation around poverty, and we need to start right now. The sorts of policies that produce spikes in street homelessness and see hundreds of thousands of families living in substandard accommodation, or that usher in drastic cuts to social care and mounting crises within the NHS, are ultimately linked to the wider tone set on poverty and the welfare state's role in alleviating it. In the US, which barely has a welfare safety net, and which is the ultimate poster boy for British advocates of rolling back the state, the campaign to demolish what little support there is for poor people has reached a new crescendo. And as with austerity in the UK, cruel and counterproductive policies are wrapped in language carefully to demean the other, those in need of assistance. Since the start of the year, the Trump administration has launched an all-out policy assault on America's poor. The opening salvo came when Medicaid, the national social insurance program providing essential health benefits for about 74 million Americans, was subject to a brazen, calculated attack. I love how they put that. Perseus Gold, the only way to decrease poverty is to increase private family land ownership, and the UK is straight out of land. Anyone say scramble for Africa too? Oh, God, you know. It isn't enough that Republicans have been trying to demolish the 50-year-old program, despite it being effective as well as popular nationwide. It's not all that effective. As a matter of fact, there are a lot of people that are falling through the cracks every fucking year in the social system. They're trying to reform it in order to make more of a weaning process off of food stamps, in order to get people gradually off any of the social programs so they can stand on their own. The problem is in this country there's a lack of knowledge when it comes to managing money properly that can not only help people get off of welfare, but stay off of welfare. If you decide that your priority is a PS4 over feeding your family or paying bills, then obviously you're going to stay in poverty. I mean, you know, the PS4 can't feed you. Buying new games for the PS4 isn't going to put clothes on your children's back or food on your children's table. Straight cis mail. How about we stop giving illegals benefits and start helping our vets and other people that actually need it? Yeah, we were talking about immigration last night with Hard Bastard on Coffee Talk. And yeah, it's time that we reformed a lot of things in this country. It really, really is. But you need your games. Penina. It is time that, you know, we take a step back, and a lot of us, and it will be hard because change isn't easy. Okay, change has never, ever been easy. But we do need reform in this country. We need welfare reform in this country. Okay, we need to be able to objectively sit down. Let me see here. This is very fitting. The Greeks created OS and didn't let other people to the north compete and called them barbarians, and that's how the term OS and barbarian originated. Oh. Let's see. She sounds like she's trying to interfere in U.S. politics. Indict her now. I love you too, MC. The problem with a lot of these people in the Senate is they can't sit down. They don't want to sit down and objectively negotiate for what actually is best for this country. Continuing the broken welfare system as it is not good for this country. Not enforcing the immigration rules and not having immigration reform is not good for this country. As a matter of fact, it is detrimental to this country because we can't keep allowing an influx of illegal immigrants in here. I mean, I'm all for a merit system. I'm all for, you know, offering 1.8 million dreamers the chance to become citizens. You know, I'm all for these things, but we can't continue to take in these influx of illegal immigrants that come here and let me... I don't know, Numbed Skull. And what I mean by illegal immigrants is illegal aliens that come to this country, work under the table, steal the identities of hardworking Americans in order to get this money, and then go back to the country from whence they came. Those are the illegal aliens I'm talking about. I don't have any problems with people that come here through legal means, that use the system to come here legally, through studies, through school visas, through work visas, you know, legally that way. I have no problems with these people. I also have no problems requiring these people to speak English. When in Rome. If you come here and you want to be a legalized American citizen, then learn the language. Canada makes you learn a language. Perseus Gold. Canada has merit-based immigration. All it does is replace your upper middle class instead of your lower class. They get degrees in India or China for 10% the cost here and compete for the same jobs. Well, you know, every system has its flaws. Isn't SSI supposed to go insolvent soon? Well, we're not. They're saying within the next 10, 15 years, I think, maybe 20, that the money that's being put in Social Security is not going to be able to pay the next coming generation of retirees. And that is mainly because they decided to do the stupid thing and put the money that was supposed to be just for Social Security into the general fund, which never works. Originally, the Social Security number, or receiving the Social Security number, was supposed to be a government savings plan for you. So that Social Security money was supposed to go into an account with that Social Security number, and only you were able to access it when you retired. And that was the way it was supposed to work. But fast forward, add in greed, corruption, and people who lose touch with what the people need in the country, and now you have Social Security getting ready to run out of money because that money has been put in a general fund. Good morning, G. Bronner. And now for the live stream announcements. Let me see here. You may have to keep an eye out for Wren, but here are the announcements I have for today. The Numbed Skull has his great debate at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. We have the Kumite that has just started all their cartoons running. He usually, Tonka starts that at 11, or at least the cartoons at 11. The Beardbarian at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time has an offensive Hangover stream. Check that out. Let me see. Reading Wren. She said that she was having Wrenilations at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Monday through Friday, but keep an eye out for that because apparently, according to Numbed Skull, that hasn't been happening lately, but keep an eye out anyway. At 8 p.m., you have a choice. You can either grab peanuts and beer and hang out with Jason at Hellcats, Jason's channel for Hellcats, where he plays games or just general BS, or just kind of like a hangout stream. Or you can go over to Twitch and watch Penina get the shit scared out of her because I think she's still playing FNAF. Which, for those of you that don't know, FNAF is Five Nights at Freddy's. And she's trying to get me into playing Five Nights at Freddy's. 8:30, at 8:30. Okay, at 8:30. Alright, at 8:30. So at 8:15, I gotta schedule that to go out. I usually watch and haven't seen it the last few days. Okay, Numbed Skull. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ish. Because she says 8:30. But she's exercising, you know, the Cuban half of her, and she tends to start just a little late. At 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Scribe Light is hosting Lords of the Night. Thrax. Weather forced her offline yesterday. Okay. You know I gotta pick on you, Pen. I love you, girl. Love you, Dade. Love you, Pen. Love you, Pen. At 10:30... Oh, shit. Did I knock out Minions in the Zoo? No, I didn't. At 11 p.m. on Ichabod Orange channel, we have Citrus Quest After Dark. That happens every third Saturday of each month. You're Jubin. You're Jubin. You have to face it. You admitted that to me. You're Jubin. And at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you have Minions of the Zoo with their night stream. And those are the live stream announcements for today. If you know of any scheduled streams, meaning a set date and time and channel, oh hush, I'm not shouting. If you know any channels that you would like me to shout out on the live stream announcements, let me know by DMing me the channel link, the day, and the time. And this has to be, in other words, a scheduled thing, kind of like my live streams, and I will shout them out on the channel. Special event live streams are also shouted out on this channel, so if you know anybody doing a fundraiser or anything of that nature, please let me know. And I will add that to the live stream as well, because we have to help each other out as much as possible, because YouTube keeps changing crap. And even though I monetized the stream, it probably won't be monetized by the time I end it. Perseus Gold. Winston Smith is trying to organize a regular Friday night panel debate stream. You can DM me on Twitter, or you can DM me on Discord, Perseus, with the details. I'll go check out his channel because I haven't heard of Winston, and I will go from there. Beardbarian in 50 minutes, if you didn't say it. Yep, I shouted that one out. Yep. It's more fun listening to Penina scream. I mean, what? I can't find Ichabod's channel. Just look for Ichabod Orange. I've got the link is supposed to be down there in the description, Levi. They're all down there in the description. Learn how to read descriptions, Levi. Love ya, honey. Oh shit. Okay, that's Scribe Light's channel. Alright, let me fix that. Doobie doobie doo, doobie doo doo, doobie doobie doo. There goes my stream, because now I've got a copyright strike on a song that hasn't been played in years. Doobie doobie doo, doo 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 doo, doobie doobie doo. I'm editing the video, getting down here, and adding it for you. I really gotta be careful. Okay, here we are. Let me see here. And we need the description. I need the description. Ah, open it up. Yep, Strangers in the Night. Alright, let me see. In 3, 2, 1, we should have... Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, and... Alright, I have saved the changes. Ichabod's link should be working now, Levi. Thank you for telling me that it was not. And you even got a musical interlude to go with that. So I hope you're happy. Now it's on the internet. Now it's on the internet forever. Yeah, me somewhat half-assing the the singing. So Let me see. J. Willie, idea for a welfare reform. Make it a requirement that people need to have citizenship that extend back at least 18 years in order to qualify for welfare. It's not bad. That is not bad. Not bad at all. I kind of like that idea. But, my friends, it has come to that time. May your coffee ever flow. May your caffeine be ever strong. And may you have a wonderful and terrific Tuesday. Take care of my coffee nuts.